You guys destroyed the like goal on the last video by 200%. So here we go. Switch U Part 2. I've been wanting to make this video for a while because I did manage to get this thing on both a plane to Japan and a train in Japan. But in every single store, I stared at the shelves of Switch games, reminding me that I couldn't play them on the Switch U in my very hands. So today, we're fixing that, along with some of your most requested upgrades. But apparently, I also committed sacrilege here by destroying a Wii U gamepad. So by the end of this video, I'm going to try and turn it back into one without ruining anything we've already built. Let's begin. A lot of you asked about amiibo support, and to be honest, I hadn't even thought about it. Anyway, there's a possibility it works, but the motherboard may be too deep in the gamepad. Or it just works perfectly. It's not in the original Wii U reader location, but I'm going to abide by if it ain't broke, don't fix it here. For everything else, we're going to have to open it back up to see how we can make the upgrades. But which upgrades, I hear you ask? Well, of course, the game slot is the main one, but whilst we're inside, there are a few other small additions we need to complete too. Some of you were concerned about airflow. Although after playing many hours on it, it didn't overheat at all. To be honest, the Switch Lite would probably run just fine even with the fan unplugged. It really doesn't kick out too much heat. Even so, I'm still going to add a 3D printed vent at the top because I think it'll look cool. Next up, there were varied ideas on what to do with the USB-C port. I did look at a couple extensions to put it in the original charge port location, but they weren't perfect and I didn't want to risk limiting transfer speeds. So instead, I'm going to design and print a guide piece to make it a lot easier to plug in to the original USB-C port on the Switch. Like a glove. Now, the volume slider. Right now, the console only has volume down connected to the sync button on the back, but I've been really wanting this slider to work instead. A 3-state switch was a great idea, but I couldn't find any small enough at my local store. So, instead, I've got a couple tiny buttons in my parts drawer that will do just fine. As one of you commented, all we need to do is find some space for them on both sides of the volume slider. So when moved all the way up, you press the volume up button, and when you move it all the way down, it presses down. I could wire the buttons up directly to the buttons on the flex board, but I think it'll be a bit cleaner to wire it to the points on the daughter board, just like the others. Okay, we'll find out if it works later on, but first we've got to add the most important part. The game slot. Where is the best place to put it? One of you said to mount it at the base, but we've decided to keep the USB-C port there. So I think it will fit perfectly in one of these back vents. I think they're for the speaker, originally. We've just got to make some room for it with a pair of cutters. I've got a piece of cardboard to get an idea of how high up the slot needs to be. Then we can use it as a reference to draw up a mount to 3D print. For actually connecting it though, I've got basically the same idea as the microSD slot extension. But this time, let's hope there aren't any speed issues. We just need another game slot and then to add a wire to all of the pins from the old slot over to the new one. All 17. That's the hard part done. Now we just need to get it plugged in and screwed down. I've added another screw hole to the mount and some double-sided tape to secure the game slot in place as much as possible. Although the back shell should also stop it from moving too much too. With that, we can close it back up completely without testing it. Foolishly, because we have a problem. The software isn't booting up. It's most likely something to do with the SD card. Back open we go. I eventually got it to boot a couple times, but it then quickly got worse. I'm almost 99% sure our issue is the external SD slot. These wires are not optimal, which doesn't bode well for the game slot, but I'm still optimistic. As for the SD card, it has definitely corrupted, which means everything I had installed is gone. But oh well, silver linings. Now we have a chance to upgrade it with this 1 terabyte card. And this time I'm going to just keep it plugged in internally, and then use file transfers through the USB port instead. That should keep it from corrupting again. Hopefully. After reinstalling everything, it's working again, so we can test out all of the new functions. The volume slider feels super solid and works with no issues. The USB-C port is now miles easier to plug in, and the new vent does look pretty sick. But what about the game slot? Nice. First try. Even with the mess of wires, it seems to be running at full speed. I notice no difference with a normal Switch. But now we can get to the main event. There were a couple comments concerned about destroying a Wii U gamepad like this. As I said, there aren't that many around anymore. But the one I used was already broken. It also seems Japan isn't aware of the gamepad shortage, because I found a few bins full of them for around $15 each. On top of that, a lot of you mentioned that MattKC recently released a program called Vanilla for the Switch that lets you use it as a Wii U gamepad. So that means we can come full circle and use the Switch U with a real Wii U console as originally intended. But there's a problem. I found a couple Wii U's on my shelf, but I can't find the power cable for it anywhere. Which also means I don't know if it even works. So, it's time to find out with Bonus Mod! The original Wii U power supply can output 15 volts 5 amps, so that means we need a USB-C decoy board capable of that also. We just need to tear the console down and find somewhere to stick it down and wire it up. This board has different voltage modes, so we've just got to make sure it's set to 15 volts for the Wii U. And with that, we can cut some space in the plate and Dremel the shell for the port. And it's done. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode of Bonus Mod! Now, back to what we were doing. Let's turn it on and get the Switch U connected. Success! Matt has said that the software is still in beta and isn't perfect, but it's pretty much 95% there. And this console has Mario Kart 8 pre-installed. Sick. And yeah, from testing it here, it is 100% in a playable state. Now I've got to go find a copy of Zombie U to run through. Goodbye.